The idea for Pet Tutor come about? Was it a light bulb moment in the middle of the night, or did you create it to suit a need that you had?
Well, it's first of all kind of a blending of my two passions. I did a lot of work with training my own pet dog and then some other owners' pet dogs. My background is in engineering, as I mentioned, and it just blended those two things. But I would say the turning point for me to begin to seriously think about it was back in chicken camp. If I don't know how many of your viewers or listeners are familiar with Bob Bailey's chicken camp, but he is one of the premier, if not the premier trainer in the world today, training over 20,000 animals across 140 species. And I was just so inspired by the work that he's doing. And he had a staff of 50 trainers at any one time in his company. They did that for decades, training animals for television and military and you name it. But during that course, at one point he said, he told us about the Spy Cat program, which was a project for the National Security Agency to guide cats into a position, and then they had a listening device on the cat, and they could guide this cat with ultrasound. And so the human couldn't hear it, but they could, like, let's imagine parking a little kitty outside the Russian embassy where two ambassadors are chatting away privately next to the kitty. So that was the idea of spy cats, but to train them to be very solid in their behaviors, they used automation. So Bob told me that they used 500 electric feeders for their own internal purposes for various species to augment the manual training. At that point in the workshop, I said, oh gosh, somebody ought to invent that. Nobody did. So at one point then I decided to jump in. And it was also born out of what I perceive as the need in the positive training world. I'm a crossover trainer. I didn't like the force approach that I'd started with my own dog, and when I learned about positive, I love it. It's the way to go in my mind. And there wasn't a lot of technology available. It was very limited for positive trainers. So my mission is now to bring smart technology to the positive training world.